Okay. You know how I keep saying that Murderbot stans will do anything except actually reread the books to find me quotes to prove me wrong? On the Internet Archive, where I am uploading the transcripts for all of these videos, and this is just going to be another mini intermission to make fun of these people in particular because it is hysterical. I keep saying, these people are all claiming that the series is not racist, it's not doing slavery apologism in any way, it's not ableist, it's not extra-sexist, it's totally not racist in any way. They just keep saying that, and then when I have so many goddamn quotes, this entire thing is nothing but quotes. But they refuse to ever pull any quotes from the series that they think uphold their claims that I'm wrong and they're right and there's nothing bad with the series at all. It's not doing slavery apologism at all. The series is totally not asking us to worship slave owners straight out of the gate and then never stopping doing that, guys. That's what they say. These people are literally claiming the book series is not racist. It's not asking us to worship slave owners. It doesn't demonize slaves in any way. They won't actually ever find quotes to do that, though. But they will make sock puppet accounts and then comment and then leave reviews, which is a thing you can do on the Internet Archive for the transcript compilation. So I'm going to read them. I think they're showing up in order. So I'm going to read the reviews for this video series that are on the Internet Archive so far. It is May 6th, 2026. So you can really tell they're all sock puppets, because just wait. Mally Bull said on August 20th, 2025, subject, because you give the review all gets like a title, so that's what the subject means. Title, Weird Arguments, Get Help. Again, literally, you'll see. I went into this with an open mind, but I think the narrator just hates those books. And also, it's really funny to interrupt the thing already, but like, people keep claiming, oh, I read half of the first thing, and it's like, that's the overview of all of Martha Wells' bigotry. That is your direct invitation to look up what I'm talking about and do the research for yourself. Literally, the entire first half of the first video where I'm actively suffering from heat exhaustion. I wasn't joking about that in the video. Literally, the entire first half of that is an overview of all of Martha Wells' bigotry over the decades. That's what people are claiming to have read, and then they apparently stop after that, and then they will just make baseless claims and then make shit up. So, okay. Mally Bull said, Weird Arguments, Get Help. I went into this with an open mind, but I think the narrator just hates those books and lacks the ability to do textual analysis at as high a level as their opinions require. They barely read any of the book in this transcript and just go on and on about slavery. Wow, you don't say? The series that I'm criticizing for slavery apologism, and I just go on and on about slavery? They also forget what they were saying a sentence ago. Again, heat exhaustion, literally, and go in circles and on rants about slavery and abuse. Like that's not the entire purpose of this series. I am literally pointing out the slavery apologism and abuse apologism. The books have some dark themes, but by no means is Martha Wells saying slavery is good. The story is complicated. There are complicated themes at work here about slavery, and then in parentheses, from the company, confused but well-meaning help, and then in parentheses, from the preservation team that believes all constructs deserve the same rights as humans. Jesus Christ. And personal identity, in parentheses, from Murderbot, who uses its pronouns. It is not human, and it chose inhuman pronouns for itself. There is obviously violence in the series. It's called Murderbot. Narrator, maybe get some professional help? You seem really mad and scattered about this book series, and you don't seem okay. So again, first of all, literally claiming that, oh, you don't read the book at all, you're just complaining about slavery and abuse. The slavery and abuse that the series is literally telling you to think of as cute, which this person literally proves is working by saying that the preservation team believes all constructs deserve equal rights and the same rights as humans. And it's like, then why did they go solar systems out of their way to enslave one, treat it exactly as the slave they went out of their way to rent out, and then continued enslaving it and torturing it, and lied to its face about pretending not to know it was a person? Again, also the whole infantilizing and blatantly ableist, oh, if you think slavery apologism is bad, that means you must be mentally ill and you need psychiatric help. Wow. That's a brand new one. Nobody has ever said that before. Literally, if you think slavery is bad, that means you're mentally unwell and need psychological help. You know, I do in these fucking videos and transcripts talk about drapetomania, the literal fucking... God, jeez, I cannot believe these people. The thing that Martha Wells also has literally done twice now. First, in the books of the Raksura, she literally told us that the one singular character in the entire series who thinks that the white supremacist cult and literal slavery fucking shit going on in Raksura society is bad, Martha Wells literally tells us he's only saying that because he is secretly a serial killer and also a misogynist. He's a serial killer. Just trust me. He's a scarily mentally ill serial killer. What's the proof for this? None. There's literally no proof for this. It's literally just straight out of the horse's, meaning Martha Wells' mouth, that this character literally only is thinking that slavery is bad because he's actually a scarily mentally ill serial killer.
And he doesn't actually think that slavery is bad.
Yeah. And that he's just lying about thinking slavery is bad because he's a scarily mentally ill serial killer. And it's like, there's literally no proof of him actually being a serial killer in any fucking way. He doesn't actually fucking... He's literally not a serial killer. But she literally tells us that to demonize him. The only reason this character exists is to demonize abolitionists, literally, by framing anybody who says that slavery and any other form of systemic inequality is bad. Well, they're actually a serial killer, don't you know? They're a scarily mentally ill serial killer who has something wrong with their brain.
Unlike our quirky, relatable protagonist who's mentally ill, but not really.
Yeah, literally. That's the only reason that fucking character exists. And his name is Rift. And that's supposed to be scary and showing that he's such a serial killer because his name is ... Rift.
And no
R-I-F-T. Nobody would ever name a child Rift. That's such a scary serial killer name that he must have chosen for himself to show how scarily mentally ill he is, because only scarily mentally ill people change their names, which we have decided he did, with no evidence besides Martha Wells is a white supremacist doing slavery apologism.
Tired of people criticizing
literally, she literally got tired of people criticizing her fucking writing in just this book series that predates the Murderbot Diaries. She got tired of people criticizing the slavery apologism in this series, so she literally made up an entire caricature to frame as a scarily mentally ill serial killer who changed his name. Isn't that terrifying? Even though we have no evidence that he actually did that. She's just saying this shit. And also, his name is Rift. R-I-F-T. That is framed as terrifying. And a million billion red flags that he's a serial killer. Meanwhile, literally, in the same book, there's a character named Drift. D-R-I-F-T. This is completely unironic. Completely unironic. It is not acknowledged in any way. There's also a good guy character named Bone. B-O-N-E. But that's totally fine and morally neutral. But this dude, being named by his parents, but Martha Wells tries to tell us he totally chose that name himself, and that alone is terrifying. Him being named Drift is somehow evil and scarily and mentally ill serial killer vibes, like a billion red flags. Apparently him being named Drift or Rift, see, I'm getting them confused. Apparently him being named Rift is like the invention of red flags for being a serial killer. But literally having a guy named Bone, no, that's totally chill. Why would anybody think that's weird? Just fucking, I'm not making this up. Anyways, let's continue. But like, these people are literally doing slavery apologism by pretending that I must be mentally ill, and that's why I think the slavery apologism and other forms of bigotry, but mostly the slavery apologism in this series is bad. Literally. They are literally doing slavery apologism and anti-black racism to uphold slavery apologism. And I'm not even black, but they are still applying this shit to me because I dare to criticize the anti-black caricatures. Because this whole thing, Murderbot, the protagonist of this series, is literally a caricature of a slave. It is the mammy trope. It is the Uncle Ben trope. Uncle Ben? Uncle Tom. Not fucking Spider-Man's Uncle Ben. I mean, it is also that too, because as she will happily admit, including literally 4 days ago, on May 2nd, 2026, she once again decided to just tell everybody, like it's not damning, that her original plan was for Murderbot to successfully commit suicide in book 1, which was only going to be a short story, to successfully commit suicide to protect its precious cinnamon roll slave owners, and that was going to be a tragically beautiful ending of the story. Like, literally, you cannot make this shit up. Murderbot is a caricature of a slave, literally designed to do slavery apologism, and it's working, as you can see from these blatant fucking sock puppets right here. And if they're not sock puppets, well then you can see the greater problem of they're all just saying the same bullshit, and also just, hold on, let me get a drink. Also the fact that these people are all misgendering me. I don't use they, them pronouns. I use it, its pronouns, and skull, skull's pronouns. But you know, the series is not racist or extra-sexist or anything like that. Second reviewers by Elizabeth Bees from January 27th, 2026. The title is Yikes! Holy shit! Or maybe holy fuck, it's censored. So, I was looking for Murderbot live blogs and found ... this! Over 100 pages of incoherent ranting. I laughed at first, but then I started to get genuinely concerned. I don't think this person is well. And, like, I'm literally interrupting again. Do you see it? This is literally all they have to go on. They aren't gonna actually do anything but say, oh, this is totally incoherent. This person must be unwell mentally. It's like, you are literally doing the slavery apologism that this series does that I am criticizing. I don't think this person is well. They keep saying that the author is lying to them and that the book is actually covert slavery apologism. They can't read tone or wrap their head around the concept of an unreliable narrator. A thing I have gone into detail in actually describing what that actually is. Claiming I can't read tone while misgendering me. I have to keep bringing that up. They're claiming I can't read tone when I'm constantly pointing out that the tone of the fucking text is very purposefully constructed to be framing the slave owners as good, to the point that 90% of these people won't even admit that they are slave owners. Well, they're claiming I can't read tone when I am purposefully pointing out the purposeful tone of the story. Okay. They can't read tone or wrap their head around the concept of an unreliable narrator, and they just generally don't seem to really understand what they're reading? That's a question, by the way. They have a question mark at the end of that. Initially, I thought that maybe they were a kid with undeveloped reading skills encountering tough... Oh my god. These people are... Oh my god.
You hear this? As we all know,
the Murderbot...
deeply intellectual.
As we all know, the Murderbot Diaries is a deeply intellectual and tough read that uses big words and complex prose and complex anything. As we all know.
It's totally not getting more and more reviews saying it's just being completely
literally again, I could not make this up if you told me to imagine the shit people would say to defend this series and to defend it specifically against criticism. I wouldn't be able to make up any of this shit that these people are pulling right now. and again, the ableism, they're now infantilizing me by claiming, oh, only a kid would think slavery apologism is bad. Initially, I thought that maybe they were just a kid with undeveloped reading skills encountering tough concepts for the first time. But after reading for a while, I don't think so. I'm actually kind of worried. I just hope they're able to get help. And it's like, okay. Do you see the... First of all, the slavery apologism, the blatant slavery apologism and anti-blackness, literally claiming if you actually analyze media, and this is also blatant anti-intellectualism, just for the record, they are literally, the claim of these first two reviews is literally, if you think slavery apologism is bad, that must mean you are mentally unwell. But also, so they're claiming to think that I am mentally unwell and need help, and yet... What is their response to claiming that they think I am in mental distress? They're doing this instead of, I don't know, reporting these to somebody to get me help or anything like that. They literally do not believe the things that they are saying, because if they genuinely thought that I was mentally unwell, they wouldn't be leaving these reviews. They wouldn't be doing this. If you think somebody is mentally unwell and needs help, you're not gonna do this. Like, again, they're literally claiming that, okay, first of all, I don't understand the concept of an unreliable narrator when I have literally gone over what an unreliable narrator is and what it is not a billion times now. Scrolling up, the newest one is from On Website from February 4th, 2026. Subject, oh wow, this can't be healthy. Again, I can't make this shit up. Literally, they are all doing the same fucking theme. This can't be healthy. I enjoy literary analysis as much as anyone, but hundreds of pages of extremely paranoid now, and disjointed ranting is not a normal response. The writing doesn't make much sense, and the videos aren't any better. They're scattered and erratic and make me genuinely worried for this person's mental health. Literally, oh my god. Literally, this is okay. Pausing just this for a second, I'm white. I'm not even the victim of anti-blackness and slavery apologism. But I understand that as somebody who wants to be anti-racist, I have a moral obligation to call it out. This is the shit these people are saying about me, a white person, criticizing this. Now imagine how much fucking worse it is when you are an actual black person having to fucking call this shit out when this is the shit that your actual ancestors and relatives today, because that's what the fucking 13th Amendment literally allows for. It literally says, yeah, slavery's illegal unless you think of any excuse at all to throw them in jail, in which case, yeah, keep them enslaved. Imagine how much worse this shit is when you are the actual victim of the shit that is being criticized right now. They are doing slavery apologism and anti-blackness and literally claiming that if you think any of this is bad, it means you're mentally ill. Imagine how much fucking worse it must be when you are an actual black person who has to fucking deal with this shit. The literal continuation of actual fucking original fucking flavor slavery apologism, and it's still continued to be levied against you in 2026. That's why I'm fucking calling this shit out. That's why I am being so loud about this shit. So that the actual black people don't have to deal with these motherfuckers literally saying, you should just be a happy slave and stop complaining, because that's what this literally is. The idea that thinking slavery is bad means you are mentally ill literally comes from when slavery was still legal everywhere in the United States. It was literally called drapetomania. They literally said that any slaves who were unhappy being slaves and tried to run away were literally mentally ill. Because, as all the slave owners said, the slaves, and by the slave, we mean very specifically the black people's natural place was on the fucking plantation in servitude to white people who were inherently superior. That is why I am calling this shit out. And that's why other white people especially need to start calling this shit out. And not just limited to white people. This goes for non-black people too. You have a moral responsibility to call out anti-blackness. That's why I'm doing this. Like,
imagine how much more worse it is.
Literally.
This is just 3 small instances of microaggression.
These are just 3 of the fucking things. These are just 3 of the examples of the shit these people have said to me since I started doing this. And now fortunately, they are here on the Internet Archive, presumably forever. It's not like you can save Internet Archive pages to the Wayback Machine, but I don't think they'll be deleting these anytime soon. So, and also this video now exists to archive what they said, so that, you know, people in the future won't be able to pretend, nobody defended that, we all thought it was bad, trust me. You know, when this shit inevitably implodes, the way J.K. Rowling's reputation did. Anyways,
except there's not even any merch for people to cling on
yeah.
to for nostalgia. The only merch is the world's shittiest fucking headphone that they're selling for like $30.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me just restart this third one after my, yeah. This is why white people have a moral obligation to criticize anti-blackness, so that this shit is hitting us instead of the actual victims. Because, as I've said, I haven't been talking as much about the ableism in the series because I'm physically disabled, and I'm sick of being the only one who actually has to deal with this shit in real life, having to be the only one criticizing it. It is literally easier, emotionally, for me to criticize the anti-blackness, because that I am privileged not to have to suffer through. But the ableism, trying to get people to acknowledge that, is fucking exhausting. And at this point, I've given up until I can bare minimum get people to start actually acknowledging the slavery apologism, let alone criticizing it. And that's, I mean, the day is approaching, but it's not fucking here yet. Let me restart this one from, yeah, this was just from February 2026. This can't be healthy. I enjoy literary analysis as much as anyone, and it's like, if you have to say that before saying this, we can tell you don't actually enjoy literary analysis. As I've said multiple times, and many other people have also said, what fandom people like this see as literary analysis is just making up completely irrelevant headcanons. They're not doing analysis, they're just making shit up and literally just accepting everything that the author tells them at face value. The Murderbot fandom's idea of literary analysis is saying, oh, it's so beautiful. Rathy said gently that once you're a slave, you can never stop being a slave, so you shouldn't even try to do anything else with your life. That's beautiful. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what Martha Wells wrote that scene to tell you. That's why she made sure to put the word gently. Rathy said, gently, you can't be an ex-sec unit, as in, you can never stop being a slave. But because the slave owner that we're supposed to see as quirky and goofy and cute said it gently, Martha Wells tells us to be think it's adorable. And he's so understanding of Murderbot. Now ignore the fact that he and Murderbot have never had a discussion of this in any way. He is not speaking up on Murderbot's behalf in a way they have fucking talked about before and that Murderbot has asked him to do. He's just saying this as Murderbot's slave owner, as someone who directly, constantly, for years now, benefits from Murderbot being a human shield for him. He's literally saying, but he says it gently. You can never stop being an enslaved meat shield, so don't even try. Anyways, continuing, blah, blah, blah. I enjoy literary analysis as much as anyone, but hundreds of pages of extremely paranoid and disjointed ranting is not a normal response. The writing doesn't make much sense, and the videos aren't any better. They're scattered and erratic. We just need somebody to go through and just highlight all the key words of the ableism and dog whistling for this person's scarily mentally ill, like Rift, like 3, like that other character whose name I can't remember. They're scattered and erratic and make me genuinely worried for this person's mental health. Very few coherent thoughts are present, and they keep repeating ideas as though they forgot that they already said them. No, it's not that I forgot I already said them, it's that I have to keep repeating them because you people keep pretending they don't exist, and Martha Wells keeps doing the exact same tactic over and over and over again. I'm repeating it the same amount of times that Martha Wells repeats the slavery apologism. They seem to have imagined a character being black in the narrative and based... Oh my god. Are you prepared for the rest of this sentence?
Start the sentence over.
They seemed... And again, they're misgendering me. My pronouns are not they, them. They seem to have imagined a character being black. They will get 1 point for capitalizing the B in black, but that's not even a point. They seem to have imagined a character being black in the narrative and based an entire slave allegory on that. And then in parentheses, is this using extra-textual sources? If so, most of the characters being extra-textually described as POC, they spelled that out instead of just saying people of color, would make Murderbot being black irrelevant. Oh my god, Jesus, do you hear this shit?
No, I got the shit.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm starting over, because the other twin did not hear the sentence. They seem to have imagined a character being black in the narrative and based an entire slavery allegory on that. And in parentheses, is this using extra-textual sources? If so, most of the characters being extra-textually described as POC would make Murderbot being black irrelevant. It's also a book set extremely far in the future where concepts like gender identity are treated very differently than they are now, so I'm confused about quote-unquote non-binary, end parentheses, okay? They're claiming that I'm incoherent.
I like how they said extra-textual sources for Murderbot being black, but then they also said it's extra-textual sources
so they are
for the other characters with their ethnic names and
literally this person is claiming that, oh, well, actually, all of these characters are white. They're claiming that it's only extra-textual sources that imply that Bharadwaj, Pin Lee, Rathi are not white. Do you hear this shit? And also, no! The other characters being brown people does not make the fact that Martha Wells went around telling people Murderbot is black irrelevant. Anti-blackness is global. It wasn't just white people enslaving black people. This is just blatant fucking white supremacist. It's just blatant white supremacy. Okay, what are they saying? So they're just blatantly being like, they literally have the word non-binary in quotation marks. It's also a book, and this is in the same parentheses as that first statement that Murderbot being black would be irrelevant. No, it fucking wouldn't. It literally would. That's not how. Okay, you can literally just tell this person is literally just a happy white supremacist. And then in the same parentheses, for some reason, even though this is a different subject, it's also a book set extremely far in the future where concepts like gender identity are treated very differently than they are now, which, no, it's fucking not. It's literally not. So I'm confused about non-binary. That they literally just have the word non-binary in quotation marks. That's the end of that sentence and the end of those parentheses. They're confused about non-binary. Because this is set in the future. What are they talking about? What do they what so they don't what does this say? What does this even try to say? The last sentence of the thing is, it's genuinely really concerning to read, and I hope this person finds healthier outlets for their strong feelings. Yeah, that's literally. Do I even need to say anything else? Like,
these guys can
this is what
time getting up in arms about people critically talking about media they love, but the people doing the critical media analysis are the ones who are mentally unwell and unstable,
literally
and in distress.
Literally, they're not providing any of their own counter quotes from the series. They are just claiming that if you criticize the series, it means you are mentally unwell. Where's their proof? Well, they said so, while misgendering me, and claiming that Murderbot being black is irrelevant because they are claiming that all of the other characters enslaving Murderbot are white. What are you biting? Hey, where did all your toys go? Why are you biting cardboard? Look, play with the octopus. Yeah. Coming over here. It's like, and okay, the fact that this person is literally pretending not to know that the other characters are meant to be people of color, and that's why Martha Wells literally made up 8 of them to give ethnic-sounding names for diversity baiting in book 1. That's exactly why she didn't describe them. Exactly so that white supremacists like this can ignore the blatantly fucking culturally, I can't think of the word, signaling names and pretend they're actually all white. Just like Murderbot is totally white, according to this person. Like, they're saying I imagined an entire slavery allegory based on the fact that Martha Wells went around for years telling people that Murderbot is black. And it's like, I'm not the one who wrote this book series and literally made it about slavery. They're literally claiming that there's no slavery in this series at all, and I just imagined that. But these are the people who claim that they do media analysis for sure. You can definitely trust them. The series is not racist at all. What's their evidence? They don't have any evidence. They're just going to say that anybody who criticizes it is mentally ill, and also they're confused about non-binary. Just the word non-binary in quotation marks. No, like, I don't think there's a character limit on how much you can put in one of these things. Click on anything on the Internet Archive and see if there's a character limit for how much you can put in a review. Like, what are you confused about non-binary, the word non-binary? What are you confused about? Because I also, in these things, talk about the fact that Murderbot is literally just a non-binary stereotype. It's an extra-sexist stereotype built upon... Okay, there is a character limit. You can have 1,000 characters. So let me copy and paste this top one into LibreOffice and see how many characters it is. Maybe we can be generous and think, oh, maybe they ran out of characters. And that's why they didn't elaborate or provide proof. But again, you notice the fake concern for my mental health. No. Okay, yeah. 991 characters. But, like, they had 991 characters. All of these people had 1,000 characters to write. Did they actually provide proof that I'm wrong? No. Did they say anything of substance to prove me wrong? No. They're just claiming that I'm incoherent and scattered and erratic and all these keywords to signal, ooh, this person's mentally ill and that's a bad thing. So that means the person we are all misgendering, well, I'm confused about non-binary. fucking hilarious to me.
And these are fans of the Murderbot Diaries.
And these are fans of the Murderbot Diaries. These are the people that Martha Wells wants in her audience. These are the people she's very specifically catering to. These are the people, these people here are the exact reason she has purposefully never actually described any character's skin color besides Mensa. And we barely got a description of her.
And Mensa specifically has hair that is lighter than her skin
She
color.
very specifically has Mensa. Martha Wells made sure to tell us that Mensa's hair is a lighter brown than her skin. Because colorism and anti-blackness and just blatant white supremacy. These are the people that Martha Wells has gone out of her way to court. These are the people she is actively trying to court. This is why she doesn't actually describe anyone's skin color. She just gives them ethnic sounding names to literally tokenize. This is diversity baiting. This is who it's for. If she doesn't actually describe people's skin color, the white supremacists that she's actually trying to get on her side will just be able to pretend everybody's white, even when their names are Pin Lee, Rathi, Bharadwaj, Valescu, Gurathan, and more. This is why Murderbot and any other character never actually shares their pronouns, and why we never have any discussion of pronouns, let alone gender. This is why there's literally zero trans characters in this entire series. So that these people that Martha Wells actually is looking for will just read this entire series, claim to be fans of it, and then say, so I'm confused about non-binary. They don't even have a question mark there, even though they had enough characters to put a question mark. Literally just, so I'm confused about non-binary in quotation marks. Like, these are the exact white supremacists that Martha Wells is seeking out with her writing. This is why she is writing it the way she is. This is why. So that she can appeal to these people, because she knows that these people, as long as she doesn't alienate them by actually describing the characters as actually being people of color and actually including queer characters and explicitly non-binary and trans characters, that these people will defend her to the death because the story is telling them exactly what they want to hear. Yeah. This is, again, as I keep saying, these people will claim to love this series. They'll claim to have read it 50 times. They'll claim to have whole sections memorized. But they never, ever actually pull out a single fucking quote to prove me wrong. Even though they claim it's so obvious that I'm wrong. Because that's not in the books at all. But okay, then where are your quotes? Where are your sources for that? It should be completely effortless to prove me wrong if I am, in fact, just scarily mentally ill, as they're all claiming, and I'm making stuff up. Then just prove me wrong. It should be the easiest thing in the world, right? Shouldn't there be 50 million quotes just from book 1 alone that prove that we are actually supposed to think that slave owners are fucking irredeemable bastards that are evil and should not be trusted and do not have their slaves' best interests at heart? Shouldn't that be really fucking easy? Shouldn't it be really easy just to pull quotes from book 1 alone, showing that the slaves do actually care about each other and we are expected to sympathize with and side with them and cheer them on when they successfully fucking rebel for their freedom and kill their slave owners? Shouldn't that be so easy if that's actually what happens in this series? Shouldn't it be so easy if what actually happens is this series is that we actually care about physically disabled people and stop dehumanizing us with literal Nazi rhetoric by just, shouldn't it be so easy to find quotes where the fucking character, the main character, sacrifices itself to free the other slaves and get them to safety, and instead of being left for dead like its slave owners would have, its fellow slaves carry it even though its leg is completely shattered, and then continue supporting it throughout the entire rest of the series as its leg badly heals because they don't have access to medical supplies. Because remember, this is supposed to be criticizing capitalism, and there's nobody poorer than a slave, so where would they get those supplies? It's such an evil of capitalism that healthcare is limited only to the people who can afford it. Why don't these people just pull out quotes that show me Murderbot as a physically disabled person who is never fucking healed, being supported by its fucking community of slaves who are the heroes of the story? Why don't they just pull out those quotes and show me that if I'm wrong about everything I say about this series? And everybody watching this already knows the answer. Because none of those things happen in this series. Because this series hates slaves unless they prove that they are one of the good ones, literally by being willing to kill themselves to protect their masters. This series worships slave owners at every opportunity and will literally point blank say that slave owners' lives are worth more than slaves. Therefore, you shouldn't free slaves. The reason none of these people will ever pull quotes or even just say basic statements of fact from the actual series to prove me wrong is that they can't, and they know it. That is why literally all three of these people are claiming that you're just scarily mentally ill because you criticize anti-blackness and do actual media analysis and actually understand how writing works and understand what an unreliable narrator is. While misgendering me the entire time. Literally. Alright. That's the end of this, unless you have any commentary.
No, other than finding somebody who left a 1-star review for Fugitive Telemetry and have a video review about it.
Okay. We're going to be watching somebody's review of Fugitive Telemetry.
Yep.
We're going to be watching Matt's fantasy book reviews. This review of Fugitive Telemetry. This came out 3 years ago. Hover over the 3 years. This video was published on July 17th, 2022. We're not actually watching that on this video because my phone battery was low and I wasn't going to record a video. But yeah, that's it. This is Intermission 2. So if you actually, have critical thinking skills, feel free to leave your thoughts. And even if you do disagree with me, if you think I'm wrong about everything, please leave that a review on the Internet Archive too. Just rant your heart out. Rant your heart out. Say all the insults you want to do. I'm sure that will look good in the future. Please. Literally. If you disagree with me, leave a review. If you are glad of what I'm doing, leave a review. The Internet Archive doesn't have an algorithm. You're not even feeding an algorithm. You don't have to comment on any of these videos on YouTube. I don't give a fuck about the algorithm. But leave a review. For posterity, if nothing else. Tell everybody what your thoughts are on the slavery apologism in this series. Do you support it? Do you think I'm scarily mentally ill for criticizing it? Go ahead and leave a review. Do it for posterity. I'm sure 10 years in the future, people will be delighted to read what you have to say, one way or the other. Alrighty, bye-bye. For posterity, just May 6, 2026. Bye-bye.